Dance Party 24/7 podcast. I'm the DJ T, DJ Envy, and DJ Wongy.
So today we are going to be a general chat about passive and active DJ equipment.
Envy, I believe you have bought a new present for yourself this week.
No, you're right, DJ T. I bought myself I think Evolution. I think they're called.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Evolution Active 1000 watt peak power with a 250 RMS active speaker. Because the current sound system I have it's an active sound system, but it's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's made by it is bad. I bought it when I just started getting back into DJing, and it was like 80 quid, and it was rubbish. Yeah, it done its job. So I've now upgraded to a proper speaker. It will be here in the next couple of days. By the time the podcast goes out, I probably would have had it for about a week.
You hope.
The current system I have is an active 600 watt. That's 300 watt per speaker. These are rubbish.
No, they're not. They're not as tinny as computer speakers. To be fair.
All right, maybe that's a bit of a over exaggeration, a little bit, but they are bad.
Yeah.
If you play at low volumes, they're fantastic. When you start pushing the speakers, and you should be able to push a speaker, you should be able to push it quite far, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
But these, when you get the volume about halfway up, they start popping and crackling. And,
yeah. I would go as good to say is like they're not monitor quality.
No, they're the sort of speakers that you would have for your kids.
Child's bedroom.
Yeah, for a little hi-fi system, that sort of thing. You know, you plug your thumb drive into them. That sort of speaker.
I would say if being powered, the amp and the speaker should be compatible with each other. So when you're pushing them, they should not pop and crackle. Maybe on a cheaper end, you should get that, or you shouldn't get that, but you possibly would get that right at the very end when you're really pushing them. But if you've got, they said put it this way, that's the way it should be done in terms of the amp and speaker are compatible. You can turn it up, and then you get a little bit of distortion. If you're getting it halfway, then you haven't bought what you should have bought on the tin, have you? It's not doing its job.
In fairness to myself, at the time, I was a little bit skint. I didn't really have much money to throw around. I only just got everything at the loft. I was using a hi-fi system, and that was even worse. So I see these. I see these, and I thought 80 quid, they'll get me by, and they have.
You know what? We were talking
wrong.
We were talking earlier on today about where you've come from in the last 5 to 6 months in terms of
equipment,
DJing on a dining table in the front room. From a camera angle, it was basically silhouetted because you had the window behind you, twitching away. Really bad angle, really low. You had
fair play though.
Your 1210s, you had your 1210s, and then obviously some mixes you've begged, borrowed, and stealed and bought, and now you've got a almost whole replacement kit. I mean, it's not new, but it's new to you, and you're probably in a better situation you are now than you were 10 years ago.
Yes and no. I loved my DJ M600. When I bought my Pioneer mixer, there weren't anything out there better. That was the top mixer when I got it. But we're going back, 11 years, 12 years now?
Yeah.
You know, I got it when it pretty much first come out.
Yeah.
And it was the best mixer on the market. Pioneer did not do a better mixer. I had the Stanton C2, the C2 42 CD decks, and
the C2 4251313117s.
I said they got all sorts of names in there. But I had not Pioneer. I had Stanton's flagship CDJs at the time. There was USB didn't exist back then. So my setup back then was probably worth more.
Yeah.
But flexibility-wise, I have much more flexibility now than I ever have.
But I'm going to say we're better off. I would say that your DJM mixer is now more advanced than what the 600 is. Your Geminis are more advanced than your Stantons are. Obviously, you got your 1210s, which obviously are timeless. But overall, your setup is more modern, more 2020 than it is 2010. Yes, well, yeah, but the thing is, you haven't paid full price for it. That's probably the difference. Because if you were going to pay full price for a decent setup, and you're going to go down the Pioneer route and everything as well, you need thousands of pounds. You need like $6,500.
Yeah,
to get the.
But me personally, I'd go down the denim route.
I know we've talked about that before, yeah. But I'm just saying is that where you've come from 6 months ago to where you are now, you've had to replace, and you've had a couple of hiccups on the way, which we've talked about on here before, haven't we? Yes.
Yeah.
But there's.
But in fairness to me, I coped with that quite well with the help of DJ T on that day. I did cope, and DJ Spongy, I will mention him because he did come and save me with a new microphone. So yeah, big up the Spongy on that one.
Yeah, your setup is completely different now, and obviously you're still adding to it. It's probably for a DJ, unless you have your ultimate. I mean, Wongy's pretty much maxed out where he is in terms of the controller market, because that is the best, in my opinion, anyway, and it's only my opinion.
And in my opinion,
that is the best controller on the market in the world right now for what it can do.
Yeah.
So obviously he's hit. That's the current peak there, but obviously the rest of us, we haven't hit our top setup that we're wishing to do. We obviously wish to improve it, and that includes speakers. Obviously, that's why you bought these to improve, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've only bought one, and I will recommend this shop. I will mention it. It's whybuynew.co.uk. They're based in Colchester. They're a sister company of Get in the Mix, and they do B-stock items. So basically, they've been used for displays in the shop, or they've been out on, when they go out and they do, what do they call them things now?
Demos.
Yeah, demos and exhibitions. They go out and do like DJ exhibitions. They're basically used on there, and then they sell them off at a dirt cheap price. So the speaker retails brand new at 109. I got a B stock for 89.99. And you might go, oh well, that ain't really a lot of money to save, but it comes with a box, it comes with a lead, it comes with instructions, it comes as brand new. So what is the point in spending an extra 20 notes?
But does it also come with a warranty as well?
It comes with 1 year warranty, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the point in spending that extra £20 when you don't really need to?
No.
Because what do you get with brand new items? 1 year warranty, don't you? That's what you get.
You get the same as what you got. The only difference being is yours might have been used once or maybe twice. Yeah, in an exhibition. What's the difference?
No, and it's not like I'm using it for a club install or a bar install. It's being used at home. I'm never ever going to max it out for the first day.
Yeah.
Maybe the second day I will. I mean, me and DJ T, and I think I spoke to you one as well. I think I've spoke about PA systems in regards to active systems and passive systems. For those people who don't know what a passive system is, it is that come out a bit like messed up. For those people who don't know what a passive system is, it is basically an amp and speaker separate, old school, back in the day.
Yeah.
An active system is a speaker with a built-in amp. Simple as that. There's nothing complicated about it.
That should be compatible and rated to the speaker. So if you got an amp, but your case, the amp, excuse me, the amp's probably too powerful for the speaker. The speaker can't hold what the amp's trying to put out, especially if you're getting that distortion about halfway.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's not compatible.
Well, what I was thinking was, I'm gonna get another one of these Evolution speakers, because I'm gonna use them two. The new one I'm getting is gonna be a monitor. The two I've currently got are gonna go on the windowsill at the moment because the studio's not built. And with the Evolution speaker comes XLR, and it should come with an XLR to XLR.
Right.
Yeah. So I can plug that into my balanced output on my mixer. So I will get a better sound from the balanced as well.
Yep.
I don't have to go phono to XLR. So I'm hoping it comes with an XLR to XLR, which will be great. Because if it does, that's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plus, on this particular speaker, and I believe on the cam speaker, so you can link up speaker to speaker to speaker to speaker. So you can link up like 10 speakers.
Yeah.
Because they've got a line in and a line out, so you can link your speakers. So what I'm planning to do is planning to have 4 of them speakers.
Yeah.
In the studio, so I'll have 1,000 watts continuous.
RMS, yeah.
Yeah, RMS. So that's what I'm planning to do. With the passive route, it was just so expensive to get a 250 watt RMS passive system. Would have cost me 3 times the amount.
Yeah.
Than what it has for that one speaker.
Yeah.
So, and with the technology nowadays, what's the point in going down the route of having an amp and speakers? There's just no point anymore.
But that's the thing with technology, isn't it? Like everything is now virtually sort of more like plug and play. Yeah. So
well,
like
you say that, but that's not always the case.
No.
As we know,
in the general, like, even if you're gigging in big places, like you take a thumb drive, that's a plug and play. Yeah, you got headphones.
Is it one gig? Is it one gig? How many thumb drives have you had, and how many have been plug and play straight away?
They're play, right? That's irrelevant.
No, well, not really, because that's perfectly relevant to what we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
because your first one got corrupted straight away.
Yeah, but it came corrupted.
Yeah, I'm not saying that what we're saying is that you rely on technology to do its job properly until it doesn't do its job properly.
Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And the thing is, when technology goes wrong, let's be honest, your thumb drive that you had, I mean, it wasn't the best thumb drive. I'm not going to defend it. It was a piece of rubbish.
Yeah.
It was rubbish. I tried to format it. I tried to uncorrupt it. And basically it said, do one and go down the shop and buy another one.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it said. Because it weren't fixable.
No.
The problem you have with single single unit, so like an amp, a speaker with a built-in amp, if your speaker goes, the amp's generally no good because you can't replace it. On the one I've got coming is a sealed plastic unit.
Right, yeah.
You can't replace it. It's no good. Yeah.
Well, you're set currently, though. You've got one amp working 2 speakers, isn't it?
Yes.
Links to the second speaker as well. What you've got now is one amp integrated to the one speaker.
Yeah.
Yes. And then when I link the other speaker, it's got its own amp.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it amps itself. So that 1,000 watts peak is only working. That amp is only working one speaker. The next speaker has got its own amp.
So the difference being is, like, for everybody out there, you can't just put a normal speaker linking up with an amp speaker because it won't work the same.
Sometimes you do. If you've got a high quality amp in it, then it can do that because it'll drop to 4 ohms. But if
it has the facilities to do that, but I think in what Envy is buying and purchasing, I don't think it has the right facility to do that. So I don't think you can.
It won't need to.
No, what Envy's one will do, it's just the music that's going across. It's not the actual power going across. Yeah. So the music can be the music's linked, but not the power. That's the difference with Envy's one.
Basically, what happens is with a line in, the music goes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
line out, the music comes out and travels to wherever you plugged it into. So instead of transferring power, it's just transferring music, like T said. So with the speakers, with my current setup, the reason I found problems with it, it's got 1 amp for 2 speakers. Now, what I'm doing is transferring music from the first speaker to the second speaker. But the amp in the main speaker is amping both speakers.
So what's going in and what's coming out to another one is the same frequency type of thing, like low power, but once it goes into your speaker, the amplifier will amplify it obviously to that one speaker, but it doesn't amplify it to the next.
On the new system, on the current system I've got 1 amplifier for 2 speakers.
Yes.
So it's more of an old school setup, but because it's a cheap budget set, because I needed a system, I didn't have money to really,
No,
I couldn't jump.
But I was talking about your new one.
Oh, the new one, that's perfect, because there'll be separate amps running each speaker.
Yeah.
So the small amp, I mean, that amp inside the speaker I've got, it can only be about this big. It's tiny, mate. It's so small. I mean, they're selling it for £80 for 2 speakers.
Hang on. For the bunch of people that don't know, he's talking about the ones that he's got that comes. He's got 1 amp with 2 speakers, not the one that he's just purchased.
Yeah,
that totally cleared it up to Wongy.
So I'm currently the system I'm talking about right now is the system I already have installed with my setup, and the amp I don't think is powerful enough.
No.
Or it's too powerful.
Too powerful, I think, is for the speakers.
Either not enough or too. But if an amp ain't powerful enough, it will either cut out or distort. Yeah. Or if it's too powerful.
The thing is, it's hard to tell. The chances are it's underpowered because it's trying to push out too much and it's distorting, rather than it's distorting the speaker that's distorting, rather than the amp obviously working too hard, because that's unlikely in a small setup, in it. The amp is more likely to be underpowered, working too hard, and it's distorting the audio rather than the speaker not handling the power. Either which way, you end up with the same result. But
yeah, of course.
Mr. Wongy, what's your setup at the moment? Have you got powered? Have you got passive?
It's got my old system.
I have speakers that's powered by an amplifier.
Okay, and what's your
good system?
What's your speaker rating and amp rating?
I believe they're about 120 watts MPS, so probably about 60-70 RMS. I think.
Do you want me to tell you exactly what they are? Because it's my old system.
Yeah,
they're 100. They're 100 watt max.
Yeah.
Per speaker, and that will give you 50 to 55 watts RMS maximum.
Right. Well, I was only starting.
And what's the amp power in that?
Oh, I think the amps are 500. I think.
500 watt amp.
No, I think that's the model number. I'm not sure of the wattage on the amp. I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure.
Without looking, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, go and have a look. He's going to come back and he's going to go, I don't know, because I don't remember there being any. I don't remember there being any markings on how powerful the amp was on there.
I can hear everybody you're saying. No, you're right. There's nothing on there.
Told ya. I mean, I would assume it's probably a 300 watt amp maximum. Around that figure. Because they're running. We got what 200 watts maximum.
I reckon it's about a 400 with a 200 RMS.
I reckon it's. I reckon it's a 300 with a maximum of 100 RMS.
You reckon?
Yeah, okay. Well, what you've got enough capacity in the amp, so the amp's not working hard to do your speakers. That's what you really want, isn't it? You want a headroom, ideally, to get a good level. Otherwise, the amp works hard. You'd rather work your speakers working hard than your amp. But I've got 2 setups here. I've got I couldn't tell you what they were. I think the Omnitronic. I potential. I think they are Omnitronic. 3-way speakers.
That's old school. That is. That's old school.
Yeah.
Over a decade old. These are I got them for my daughter's 3rd birthday. She's now 18, so they're 15 years old, aren't they? Yeah.
That's not that old school.
They are a really nice, sweet sounding system. I've replaced the crossovers in them. The handles, the plastic disintegrated, so I've basically just blocked up on the inside with some wood to keep obviously noise inside. And I think I've done one of the tweeters in one of them. 100 RMS with a 800 watt, 400 RMS per side. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's overkill by probably about 50%. Which is way too much. The only reason is because the amp I had originally compared with it was a 300 watt amp, which is about right. But that sadly died. The on-off switch didn't work, and then the internal fuse kept blowing when I got it repaired. So this is just a replacement, and it's the only amp I've got to this system here in the kitchen is just for monitoring. What I have under the in the boiler room under the stairs, that's a different case altogether. I've got some Class D, and I are sweet speakers. They are passive again. I've done a couple of installs in bars with those. Even been to they not open anymore. The original place called Class D. That's not to confuse with Class D amplifiers, which you get a lot of those amplifiers called a Class D. These are Class D speakers. You're only able to find them on eBay now, but they are sweet speakers, and they hold a wicked punch. I've had bars rocking the floors and the windows with setups of these speakers, but I've only got a set of 12. They're bass reflectors, so you got like little holes in the bottom, and a 12-inch and a top, or a tweeter, 1-inch tweeter. They're 350 RMS. No, tell like they're 300 RMS because the 15s are 15s are the 350. So for 12-inch speaker, they are 300 watt RMS, and that is powered by, again, overkill because the only amp I've got. It's probably better with this amp here, 400 aside, with a 1,000 watt amp. Like it's the only amp that I had available I could buy, but these are all being bought on eBay and stuff like that.
Packs a punch then.
I will say though, T, and
that will rock a 300 people crowd. That system I've got underneath there that I DJ with, and it's just turned up, so you can barely hear it because it'll rock the whole bloody house. But yes, that's what I've got under the stairs.
What people have to remember is, so for anyone who watches this who's looking at passive and active sound systems, bearing in mind, if you're using this for home, if you buy a 1,000 watt speaker, that's generally going to be around the 250 to 300. Yeah. That will be enough for any bedroom. Seriously,
more than enough. Yeah.
This is what you don't really need that much. So
you don't need half that amount.
What you need for your bedroom is a 150 watt speaker, like speakers. So you could go with 2 150 watt speakers. Your RMS is going to be about 70, 75 roughly. That would be more than enough because you've got 2 speakers, so you've got 150 watts continuous power. That is more than enough for any bedroom DJ. Honestly,
to be fair, I'm talking about my setups. And my setups, I've taken on the road. That's what they were. This set in the kitchen here, I talk about the first set. That was what I originally had when I went on the road. And obviously, the set I've got underneath there now, obviously, that's the current set that does go on the road very, very occasionally. Certainly not in a lockdown. But they basically, I'm using those systems to DJ because that's what I have. I don't have a setup that was set up or bought or purchased to do anything in a building that's a house. They are to be obviously used out and about on the road. So yes, I mean, obviously, I just use what I got. So
ideally for me, I'm looking at for when I move into the studio. That's what I'm looking at. So I would probably have 4 of these 1,000 watt speakers. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not.
It will be though inside.
No. It's not, because I don't. With these speakers, the reason I've stayed with the active, I don't have to have them all switched on.
No.
Yeah.
I can turn one speaker on, or I can turn two
you don't
speakers.
have
It
to
doesn't
max the
matter.
volume out either.
No.
Well, the thing is, everything
with the higher power, you will get a crisper sound,
yeah,
and a better sound.
Well, what I was going to say was that if your speakers and amp are compatible, as in if you're going for passive system, which means you still use a separate amp and your speakers, or you're going for a system like Envy's got, and he will purchase more off again, is that even though you don't necessarily need to have that kind of power, what happens when you've got more power, though, is that you can just have them on trickle, as in the speaker's not working hard, the amp's not working hard. So if all Envy had was just the one, or just the one pair, for example, and wanted to put some power out, those amps and those speakers are working hard. If he had 4 of them, they're all working half as hard.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're going to last longer.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it bears down to the individual, because like some people, you know, like they like to not have it so loud, but they can hear the quality and crispness. Whereas other DJs, you know, like they want to feel it rather than like sort of like hear the crispness. You know.
Well, that's the thing. If you've got the right sound system and it's compatible, you can have the crispness at the volume.
Yeah,
I love these ones here, because so just before we did the podcast this evening, I was doing some edits for my set tomorrow, and these sound, I'll monitor off these like I would do with my headphones. I'll properly monitor them because I know over the years how good and warm these sound. But as soon as I start working them really hard, they go. Absolutely, they go. But if I've just got them ticking over, it's a nice sound.
But that's all true and well, because like you know what you're talking about, you know what you're listening to, and you know like the quality of things. But for an average like say budding or starting up bedroom DJ or whatever, like all they know is really in the general is like what's available for their budget, and just what they know, like just through like general talk. Like, and unless they go down like they study it properly, like then they'll start to understand the crispness and quality. But in general, like your average bedroom DJ is just going to go out and buy a package of something, and get going.
You know what?
Go on, T.
I was going to say, if you are fairly new to DJing, just go with what you can afford, because the best pair of speakers you're ever going to have, if you're going to DJ like we do, you do it online or you mix them for yourself. You don't have, you're not going to have a room of people in your bedroom, are you? Of DJ, especially at the moment, you can't have 6 people and things of that nature. So if you're not going to go out and party,
my house is full, mate, all the time.
Yeah,
I've got 6 in here all the time.
If you're just DJing in terms of your quality of sound, what you're listening to, the best pair of speakers you're going to have are these. These on your ears, because you don't have to have any sound to the room, because you can just mix through your headphones. All you need is enough sound in the room that if you do wish to monitor off to the side, you can monitor off to the side. Also, as well, you can hear obviously when the music's playing if you step out of the room, or you can listen to your mixers back, and you know what the sound quality is like. So I would say go with whatever you can afford. But obviously, after that, then you're looking at quality and then power and things of that nature. You may need them for other things. But certainly, you don't have to have a massive investment. Yeah. So a pair of monitors, like Envy's had before today, would be enough.
Yeah, I mean, I like my music loud. I've got the most amazing neighbour next door to me. He's fantastic. I big him up on pretty much every podcast, but he's brilliant. He does not care how loud I have my music. If I could have a 4,000 watt sound system in here, and he'd be in here giving it, hey, because his sound.
I've been there. Yeah, and when the music goes on, he'd be in the back door saying, "Come on, let's have it."
Yeah,
I did that on that video we talked about with you on Twitch on the coffee table. He's in the window.
You did you see that? Yeah.
And he doesn't get your attention because you're concentrating so much. He's banging on the window, going, "Hey,
come on!"
I'm just standing there mixing. That's when I had my decks with a side view, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The very first video.
Yeah. As I was saying, so I'm getting off subject. Before I purchased this speaker, I have probably done 2-3 months of research. I've been looking at upgrading these for months now, haven't I? And I've done research on Amazon, on eBay, on Why Buy New, on Google, and no one has actually had a really bad thing to say about. A couple of people have gone, "Oh, they're not bassy enough," but then when you actually read more of their article, you find out that they're DJing to 200 people. Well,
yeah, and they've
250 watt ain't going to be enough.
No. Yeah, then they've had to buy some subs. I mean, that's I must admit, if you're talking about the difference between passive and
active,
obviously preamped, that on the road now, if I was going to take a setup on the road, absolutely I would get preamped, because there's no way that I'm going to. I mean, that 1,000 watt amp is heavy. I mean, it's heavy duty. It's tough to lift. And if you're doing sort of mobile stuff, loading in, loading out, even going to bars and bringing your own stuff, you don't want to be bringing anything heavy as possible. It's got to be light and it's nimble and does the job. So preamped. Even though my setups, bars and clubs, they'll go down probably the old school route. They'll probably have your proper amp separate, and they'll have backup amps, 2 or 3 amps, and multi systems, and it gets really quite complex. They will not have just a speaker with a preamp speaker with an amp inside. But yeah, because everyone would be going and just turn their own sound up and down, wouldn't they, for their speaker they stood next to? Yeah, but yeah, they have a proper sound system.
Yeah,
there's even clubs out there that have the whole sound system with jackhammers under the floor to give you the thud when the floor for the bass, just all going through obviously the actual amp system. So they will go down a professional route in terms of separate amp, separate speakers. We're talking for obviously commercial use, what we would use on our setups from the DJ in a bedroom or on the road, and I would go actually preamped every single time. It's just and the thing is, you got no issue. The idiot proof, the wongy proof. You go in, you turn it on, you turn it up. There you go.
I tell you what. So we're talking about the weight of equipment. The new speakers I got coming are 11 kilos each. 11 kilos. If you took 2 of them, you've got 500 watts. You're probably good for 150 people.
Yeah,
depending on the room. Yeah, I mean you might.
120,
depending on the room.
20 safe. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you had 150 people in a room that held 150 people, you could get away with 2 of them speakers.
Yeah,
it would do the job. So. I mean, you'd be working hard, but they would do it. I'm sure they would do it.
Yeah. I mean, they do a 1200 watt, which is a 300 watt RMS. So
is that got a 15 inch speaker in it?
Yeah. I don't know if it was a 12 or 15. I don't know. I can't remember. But all I do know is that was quite a lot more expensive. That was 120, but they didn't have them in B stock. Yeah, so that's why I went with a 250.
But to be fair, you like look because the speakers are interlinking. Like you can just add and add. Like you could get away with 3 speakers for that type.
You can hook up 10 speakers.
Yeah,
because you've got lines out. You can just keep linking them.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to upscale to the 15 inch. You know, like because if you've got the 212s, and it's costing you what 160, say, right, for the 212s, active. And then you've got additional, like if you want a 15 inch bigger booster, that's like another 120, or you can go come down to say another £80 to add to your then you're better off just adding 2, aren't you?
What I would say is that where possible, listen to the speakers. If you go to a showroom, listen to the speakers you're going to buy where possible. That's not always feasible. Yes. Lockdowns and pandemics don't help the situation. Some shops don't even Why Buy New won't even let you through the door. So even though you can go to the counter, you can buy them over the counter. They can bring them to you, but you can't listen to them.
I went up to get in the mix, didn't I? Which is a sister company. They're like a joint, and I couldn't get past the door. Could I take?
No,
to get to they had. This is really weird. This is probably the most extreme thing I've seen during lockdown. When we was in proper lockdown, they had you go in the door, and then they have a counter, and it's all boxed off, and they had a flap at the bottom, and you pay, and then they push your stuff through the flap. It was the weirdest thing. It was very odd, and you could only go there to buy anything that fitted through the flap. So, say for instance, you wanted to get I don't know, a controller. It'd have to be delivered. You couldn't go in there to get it. It wouldn't fit.
It was like a late night garage. If you don't
Yeah,
go for this thing, you can't have it.
Yes.
That is pretty much what it was like. I mean, I will give the advice, and this is only my personal advice. If you can afford it, pay a bit more.
Always,
if you can't afford it,
go.
Like T said, just get what you can afford. In regards to budget end speakers, I would stay away from things like the Newmark powered speakers, which are 20 watts. Don't go anywhere near that sort of stuff.
No.
If you for powered speakers at a decent money for the small ones like the Pioneer, I can't remember the model number, but they're about that big. They're very small. They're about 90 quid.
The thing is, it depends what you want them for. If you're okay, we're talking in terms of DJing with them. You want a bit of sound for the room. You want a monitor off them. But if you are a producer or doing producing as well, then you want a flat sound, perhaps set of monitors or speakers that will give you a flat sound. You can still DJ off them quite adequately, but they're not going to give you the same kind of quality of sound or volume of sound that you want to project accordingly. So again, most DJ monitors are preamped, as in they've got an amp in them as well. But again, they're small because obviously you don't need a lot of power. Because anything gets above too much, then obviously you're not going to hear the quality of the sound like we talked about before. So they don't do them big and they don't do them very powerful. So they're not ideal for DJing, but you can DJ off them, like we said before. But yeah, if you're going to go for something that basically gives you more of a full-on monitor or a full-on performance, as in you're going to go out to people, then yes, these are the speakers we primarily have talked about this evening. And listen to them. Well, you can listen to them.
Let's have it right. Someone who wants to like start up or is getting into it, they're going to go online. They're going to like type up like what's the going stuff, what's the latest stuff, and then they'll averagely weigh up what they can afford, as of to what's on the current market. So effectively, I mean, if you're a producer, then you're looking down a slightly different line. Your mindset is slightly different towards as of to what you want. But for an up and coming or budding DJ, you're going to go for you're going to look online. You're going to see what's the best on the current market, and then you'll value that as of to what you can afford at the time.
I would say even to the extent that if you're producing, you might get a set to produce with and a set to DJ with. You have two sets that you would actually use.
Yeah, my point being,
yeah.
I mean, the speakers I got now, the Fenton, I would recommend them for bedroom DJs all day long.
Yeah, they are good.
They are sort of house party speakers. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less. You get what it says on the tin.
They're bedroom DJs. They're bedroom
speakers. But a bedroom DJ would do a house party, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but I would never use them for a house party. I'd use them for monitoring only. Yeah,
but you got to remember, right? So my front room, Wongy, you've been to my house.
Yeah.
My front room, these speakers are more than adequate. Yeah.
But you say that, but they're not.
But they are. The only reason they're not for me is because I'm not getting the clarity out of them that I want. I've been DJing for years,
you're not getting enough bass out of it.
Yeah, over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But initially, they sound great.
No,
they do.
Fair play, and like for an average person, because we do like a volume, so take that in consideration. For an average person, I would say they're more than adequate for a small house party.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm upgrading for me is just the sound quality, and
absolutely.
I might occasionally I might do 3-hour sets or 4-hour sets, or when we done Mindful.
Yeah.
I had the music on at the same speakers all day for every DJ, plus our 4-hour set we done.
Yeah.
So,
also,
for them
big,
sort of things,
big factor there is you're outside.
That way round.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Also you're being outside as well. You will lose so much volume because there's nothing to rebound back off again. So your bass is just going to go. You're going to have to turn them up and says these don't sound half as loud as they did indoors because you're just losing all that that bass
and
goes
it's not
straight
even
out the
that.
window.
The bass has got nowhere to go. It's got nothing
to rebound
to
off.
go through.
No.
So you're going to lose all that.
Though it was in the marquee, but the sides are flimsy.
It's not solid.
But
it's not solid.
But bass goes straight through it and won't bounce.
Yeah, you need a lot more power if you're playing outside. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the festivals, I mean, they have towers and towers of speakers, don't they?
Yeah.
They're huge amounts of speakers.
Yeah.
If only, guys. If only.
One day.
Yeah, one day we'll be back to festivals in this country.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, but definitely go active route. Don't bother with passive anymore. Simply because the cost of a decent passive speaker, as you know, like I said, £89 beat stock. Perfect.
It's not.
If you want passive, if you really want passive, that's more for quality at home. We can enjoy it properly. You know, like if you're going to DJ with it now, go active all the way, 100%.
And I mean, if you go on, T.
I was just going to say that if you went, I forgot my fucking point now. Passive. Oh yeah, basically, if you go down the route of buying passive speakers and therefore need an amp as well, even if you go on second hand, the price of that will be about the price you would buy for a decent equivalent with an active speaker in. So there's no point in going down that route, and you might have to chase it and go to different parts of the country or your local town or wherever you find the equipment you want that's compatible, and you got to do all your research and make sure that those speakers sound good with that kind of amp, all that kind of stuff, rather than mixing and matching, because if you do match and mix, it can sound quite awful, even though they actually are good speakers and a good amp. Together, they might not be particularly great. For example, PV are great for bands. Certain speakers and certain PAs are good for vocals. So depending on if you're playing dance music, again, you need a different type of speaker. That's why I know that the speakers that I have, the big ones that I obviously have in the boiler room, I was in two setups, and I even purchased them for a couple of companies, a couple of businesses before I even bought my own ones. So I know that their speakers and the vast variety that they did, the tops, the bottoms, the 12s, the 15s, they were beautiful speakers. So I could buy those blind, knowing that speaker will sound spot on. But yes, definitely I would go down the route of being preamped, because it ended up cheaper and less hassle, without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay. I will say though, if you do go down the passive route, DAP audio are fantastic. I think DAP are brilliant. DAP.
That's what I
I mean, I bought them. Oh my god, I can't even remember when I bought them. And I've hammered them speakers. I have absolutely hammered them, and I'm sure you have over the months as well.
It's got to be in excess of 15 years, isn't it? In excess.
Thank you for listening to the Dance Party 247 podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click the notification bell. And also, don't forget to follow us on Mixcloud and Twitch. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Ta-da.
Wax on.
It's definitely a false widow, mate.
Yeah, whatever.
Welcome to the 247 Spidercast. Podcast. How to respect your fellow DJ.